Welcome to Chatting It Up with Debbie T. Welcome my poo-poos, welcome my pookies, and welcome my beautiful people. Welcome guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have Dwayne Williamson. Dwayne is an attorney, he's an entrepreneur, and he is a politician in Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton, New Jersey, councilman, elected councilman.
He's an elected councilman. What else you are?
Well, one of my many jobs, and I have quite a few.
Okay, go ahead, Dwayne.
Being that I'm Jamaican,
Yeah,
this,
Jamaican.
the old
Pick up
stereotype.
yourself.
The old Haymon stereotype.
Yeah.
I'm also the chief prosecutor for Hamilton Township.
Okay.
That's like a few days a week.
Okay.
Right.
I see that Dwayne is so active in his community. You're very passionate, Dwayne. I see you all over. I see
Thank
you
you.
at.
I try.
Yeah, I see
do
you
my little
at.
bit.
Yeah, I see you at the last parade that we had. I saw you there.
Right.
What was that parade about?
Oh,
Can you share with us?
that was honoring gold medalist Athing Mu,
Okay.
who actually she pronounced it, it's spelled M-U, but she actually pronounced it Mo.
Okay.
Athing Mo,
Okay.
who is a Trenton High graduate, so we have the same alma mater. Deb, did you go? I don't remember if you went to Trenton High.
Yeah, I did. I went
Yeah,
to Trenton
you went to Trenton High
I
also.
I did.
Right. So the city of Trenton was honoring her with a parade, and they invited a lot of different groups and individuals to come out. I was actually there in my capacity as a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. So the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities were also invited by the city to come out and be participants in the parade.
Okay, so Dwayne, tell us how you started to be a lawyer. What made you become a lawyer?
Well, that's interesting. If you ever look at my Trenton High yearbook, I have under my, we take the picture with the tuxedo. So underneath, I have a nickname I had in one of my nicknames I had in high school.
How many nicknames you had?
Probably 4 or 5. But on the soccer team, we used to
Yeah.
have a lot of Jamaican guys. We had a lot of Caribbean folks and
Yes.
stuff. And we all gave each other nicknames. So mine was Bigfoot.
Oh, Bigfoot.
So it has to be soccer
Yeah.
related, right? Right. So or football, as we call it in Jamaica.
Okay.
But I almost forgot the question. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, how you started? No, that's okay. That's okay. How you started?
I remember now.
Yeah.
How did
Go
I
ahead.
start on my
Yeah.
path to becoming
Yeah.
an attorney? All
Okay.
right, so that's how we got on the whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
about my nicknames. So in my Trenton High yearbook, underneath my picture, there's my nickname, Bigfoot : and it says I want to major in international relations for undergraduate, and then I want to become international lawyer because I'm very interested in international politics and that type of thing. So what really started me for that particular path, just growing up in Trenton, I always thought attorneys was just such a well-respected profession. On top of that, I really wanted to learn how things worked. Like, I wanted to know the rules to how government and politics and business and what the underlying factors to how
And
everything
how long?
works.
Not to cut you off. How long you been an attorney?
Oh, I've been an attorney since 2007.
Okay, that's a long time.
So it's actually a second career for me. I used to be I used to be a stockbroker on Wall Street
Oh, wow.
at different firms. I worked for
Okay.
Merrill Lynch and then
Oh, wow.
what used to be called Solomon Smith Barney, which later merged into Morgan Stanley, etc. And I was actually in. I'm going to date myself a little bit,
Okay.
but I was a little young stockbroker in Manhattan during 9/11.
Oh, wow.
So I witnessed.
Were you there when 9/11
Yeah,
happened?
I witnessed pretty much
Oh, wow.
all of it. In fact, well, I'm going to go back to this is part of answering the question about
Okay.
becoming an attorney.
Okay.
I'll add this though. I was the very first person in my office after the first plane hit. I told everyone in my office, I said, this is not an accident, because a lot of them thought it was an accident.
Yeah.
I said, no, this is, Al Qaeda did this, and the person behind it is Osama bin Laden.
Oh,
and everybody in my
wow.
office was like, what the heck is Al Qaeda?
Yeah.
Who's Osama bin Laden?
And I'm sure they
I
looked at you as
yeah.
crazy.
I was like, you guys have been paying attention
Yeah.
about what's going on around the world?
Yeah.
Anyway, after 9/11 and all that, I was like, I worked for Wall Street, but I didn't really enjoy what I did.
Okay.
My job literally was to find, literally in a nutshell, this was my job.
Okay.
Find rich people and convince them to invest in certain investments that either that my company was brokering we were underwriting, or just brokering it in general. And if they invested, they give me a cut of the money they invested. Literally, that was my job.
Wow.
So that's what I did. So I it was interesting in a way. In a way, I just hated it. Like it just,
Yeah,
it
was kind of boring.
Boring, but it was not fulfilling. It's like
you need something more
it was just
fulfilling.
about making money, which
Yeah.
making money is great. But I'm sorry,
Yeah, no, drink your coffee.
making money is great, but you gotta have something
passion.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like me, I have certain goals. I want to accomplish the goals.
Okay.
For other people, it's just making money, go pay the bills. That's cool, but that's just not me. So what happened was, after 9/11, the market was bad for a while. I started rethinking. I didn't know anyone who died directly, but I had friends of friends and friends of people I know, like folks I knew from college. Sibling died, or other friends, like that. So people who died there and everything. And I had a bunch of people I know who were survivors. And afterwards, I was thinking, I said I wanted to go to law school. I did go to, when I graduated Trenton High, I went to Georgetown University, to School of Foreign Service. I got a bachelor's in international politics. So I did that part. And I said my plan was I really wanted to go to law school. So after that.
So did you go right away?
No, because I went the whole Wall Street route.
Okay.
But while I was there thinking about what am I going to do with my life? Do I want to sit here for the rest of my life doing what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
Because I really don't like it. You can make a lot of money doing it,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't stand my day to day.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm
You
going
didn't
to
like
apply for
going to
law
work
school.
every day doing the same thing.
I hated going to work every day. I mean, I used to jump on a train every morning. By that time, I'd moved to Princeton.
Yeah.
I used to get the monthly pass on the train. So I used to be on the train every morning commuting to Manhattan. And then, so I'll leave the house like 6 something in the morning.
Okay.
I'm not back home till like 9, 10 at night.
Okay.
And I did this, for a couple of years for that leg, so to speak, my Manhattan leg. I did that commute for other things after, so I was thinking about my future. I was like, hey, I'm going to create my future that I want. I'm not just going to go with the flow of, okay, I got this job and that type of thing. So what I did was I said, I want to go to law school. So the good thing was, one of my friends I'd known from Merrill Lynch, by that time, by New York I was working for, Salomon Smith Barney, was a merger of Salomon Brothers Investment Bank and Smith Barney, right? But one of my buddies from Merrill Lynch, who I stayed in contact with, had gone to Rutgers while working for Merrill Lynch.
Okay, you went to Rutgers as well, right?
Well, I went to Rutgers for law school.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I went to Rutgers Law. And so he told me about Rutgers Law School in Newark.
I thought you went to Georgetown.
I went to Georgetown for my bachelor's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got my doctorate from Rutgers.
Okay.
Yeah, so bachelor's from Georgetown, doctorate from
Okay.
Rutgers. Yeah, and so my buddy told me about it, and I started looking into the program a little more. Eventually, I applied, and I just took the plunge. And then, so I graduated 2007 from Rutgers Law, took the bar the same year, passed the first time, thank God.
Wow, congratulations,
Thanks.
you did that.
Yeah, I didn't go through that again.
Yeah.
It was tough because I was working a full-time job
Yeah.
while I was in law school.
Yeah.
So it was really tough. But once I got into the groove, so to speak, it worked out well. Yeah, it worked out well. Thank God I passed the bar the first time, so I didn't have to go through that again. And I've been practicing ever since.
Wow, that's awesome. So I see that you do a lot. You're so passionate in the community. Can you tell our audience what do you do in the community?
Sure. I mean, my thing is all about a goal, okay?
Okay.
Like vision and goals. I am a huge fan of history. And I shouldn't call it history because what other people call history, we're just a result of that continuum.
Can you define
Right.
what history is to you?
Sure. I'll start with I'm going to start with a quote by William Shakespeare. It says, "The past is prologue." So that's just the past is the build up to where we are now. It's impossible to understand where we are now totally without understanding the history of how it came to be and the why, because the history teaches the why of where things are. When you study our communities in general, you understand things aren't just the way they are. Things are the way they are because of very specific things that very specific people did over the years, right? And created certain results. And sometimes it was their intent, sometimes it's unintended consequences. So whether we're talking about a lot of the issues we see, let's say take Trenton, For example, you know, I'm an immigrant from Jamaica. I grew up, when we came to America, I grew up off the boulevard in Trenton, off Martin Luther King Boulevard on Vine Street. Proud Trent High grad, as I mentioned earlier, Jefferson Junior one. Anyway, a lot of the issues we see in Trenton are very specific. And
Trenton, New Jersey, by the way.
Trenton, New Jersey, by
Yes.
the way. And so a lot of folks are always talking about how to make Trenton better, how to get rid of the crime, how to increase, you know, it has a high poverty level, all that stuff. When I understand the history, I've got to know Trenton inside out. And the sad reality is, I speak to a lot of the folks in Trenton who don't know this history or truly understand it. And I don't mean that to be negative, it's true. Like, let me give you an example. Give you a big example.
Okay.
All right. 2010 census, Trenton had 84,913 people, 52% African American, right?
When was that?
This is the 2010 census.
Okay.
The 2020 census, they just released
Okay.
the numbers.
All
The
right.
population went up to 90,000, right?
Okay.
Of that, so black folks are the majority of the people in Trenton, right? Just over 50%, over half, right? And there's the large Hispanic population, of course, other populations. Anyway, the vast majority of the people in Trenton come from the same, their people come from the same exact counties in South Carolina.
Wow. I
AX,
didn't know that.
AXY.
Yeah, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah. And so what's the connection?
Wow.
They come from Dillon County, Marion County, etc., Sumter County. It's not by chance.
Yeah.
So why is it the majority of people from the same exact place in the South, in the same town? Well, if you understand that, you understand why we have a lot of issues we have in Trenton.
Okay.
And if you're going to be a person that could fix Trenton, how can you fix it if you don't understand what happened
That's
and
true.
what caused it?
That's true.
In a nutshell, before the 1920s, there was a very small African American population in Trenton. Trenton is probably like 98% white, right? A lot of people don't realize that. And what
So
happened?
this is a history lesson that you're giving right now.
Right. So it's more than a history lesson.
Yeah.
It's a understand why the crap's going on now.
Okay.
Because when it comes to societal development,
Yeah.
80, 90 years is short.
That's true.
It's short. I mean, we go by a thing called a Constitution that was written in 1783
Okay.
by some dudes named George Washington
Yeah.
and Ben Franklin and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they made the basic rules,
Yeah.
which we follow.
Okay.
You know, we do amendments over the years, right?
Okay.
So in time, it's considered it's very short. But in short, what you understand about Trenton is that you know, this guy named Roebling owned. He was the largest employer in Trenton. He owned a lot of the factories and stuff like that. There was other factory owners too, but he owned most of them. What happened? Italian Americans literally just off the boat and arrived from Italy were the underclass of Trenton and worked in the factories. When they started to unionize in the 20s and 30s and wanted better things like, hey man, we want some more bathroom breaks, whatever. Roebling and his boys was like, y'all ever heard of Negroes down from the South? They just came out of slavery a generation or two ago. Y'all want $1 an hour or whatever the going rate was?
Yeah.
Shoot, they make like 10 cents an hour down there. The sharecroppers, I'm going to go down there and pull them off these plantations and get them 50 cents an hour. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So he started sending a bunch of folks down to the South, to Dillon and other counties, or to encourage people to move up to this place called Trenton, New Jersey. They never heard of it.
Yeah.
It was cool at first because they had this great job. You know, the South people were being treated like dogs after slavery. I mean, after the Civil War ended in 1865, which freed the slaves,
Yeah.
you know, we just did Juneteenth and all that.
Yeah.
When the Union soldiers came back north, the Southerners took revenge on the black people. Like, oh, they ain't here to protect y'all now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whole serious stuff. So when these black folks came up, first they were happy. Problem is, the next generation who were born here, who didn't know anything about the South, who were born like in the 30s, 40s, 50s, were born here, they didn't know anything about the South. They grew up here. By that time, they wanted certain rights and stuff. So you know what? The next generation of business owners that own all the factories. Why Trenton makes the world takes.
Yeah.
Trenton's be a big factory town. You know what that generation of factory owners said?
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard of Malaysians and Chinese people? So they start closing down the factories and moving them over there. Saying, I don't gotta give y'all all this. But I'm gonna give y'all this work. I could bring this same factory to China, right? Pay them the equivalent of 50 cents an hour. Oh, y'all want $20 an hour and union rights and all this stuff and pensions?
Wow.
What? He said, we move that over there and pack all that stuff up that they make and put them on ships and bring them into Elizabeth Seaport and bring them back.
Yeah.
And in Baltimore Seaport and sell you all the same flat screen. That's literally
Yeah.
what happened. But the problem is a lot of folks of the black folks who came up from the South, a lot of folks took advantage of the changing civil rights environment, went on to college, stuff like that. Brown v. Board, 54, 55, but ended segregation. That took years to actually implement. 1964 Civil Rights Act, which officially ended official racism in government and separation of black and white people and stuff like that. So a lot of people took advantage. The problem is, a lot of our folks were so oppressed, they weren't given a chance to really evolve. So it's one thing if you have a second and third degree education in the South on some farm. It's another thing when you're up here, and y'all used to live on some farms back then. Now y'all packed up into this place called Dolly Homes. So when these jobs shifted in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and if you didn't have the education and you didn't grow up in an environment where education is important, but it was easy to get this factory job, but now it's gone.
Okay.
What happened was, these different governors came in and intentionally concentrated the state jobs in downtown Trenton. Okay. Before they weren't concentrated there, because they didn't know how all these people would be employed. Okay. And they didn't want a city that's just dead with no jobs. Okay. So the factory, they intentionally, since it was the capital, before they just spread out the services, they concentrated and they built the labor building, which is being destroyed now. All them buildings downtown, so that people could transition from not having the factory jobs to having the state jobs. Okay. So that's why the state is now the number one employed city of Trenton. Okay. Camden doesn't have it because it's not the capital. That's why Camden has nearly like 45% or so poverty level, and why Camden can't even afford a police force. Wow. They literally got rid of their police force. They don't have it because they're not the state capital. So the county had to create a police force called the Camden County Police. Wow. 50 years ago, it used to be Camden City Police. It doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. The city couldn't afford to pay a police force. Wow. So they created the county said we can't hold people in the city with no police. So they created the Camden County Police. Point is, what saved Trenton were the state jobs. Not every city in Trenton, in New Jersey, has that same benefit. Okay. But when you understand that where the folks here came from, and in the South where they generally weren't allowed to get a lot of education, and when you understand those dynamics, you understand why what's happening on the streets of Trenton are happening. Okay. Right? Mm-hmm. Right. But anyway, that's the whole point of, it's not just history, it's really understanding. It's just, to me, it's normal. Yeah. The sad part is our schools don't teach us that, particularly if we come from poor inner city schools. So we think it's some extra thing when you taught history. Like, oh, it's an interest or not.
So, Dwayne, what do you do in the community to make it better? What are you doing in the community to make it better?
One of the things I run my big mouth to explain things like this so they understand the why. Yeah. The other thing is,
which I really enjoy because I didn't know why. Right. And I've been in Trenton all my life, and I didn't know why.
I mean, a lot of what we consider normal and culture is different people pushing different things for their own ends. Okay. And sometimes we're like little pawns and not realizing that in general, we're doing exactly how people set things up for us to be doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like you do with any that's another story. Okay. So what I do is I have a vision of how, because I know all these problems can be fixed. Okay. We can set it up where in a generation, Trenton has almost no crime. Okay. We have all the resources to do it. Okay. We know the information. Mm-hmm. When I say that, the U.S. has 329 million people, over 3,000 institutions of higher learning, including College of New Jersey right here, right? We have enough think tanks and sociologists who've studied humans inside and out. Okay. And they know exactly what causes things. They know if you do certain things, you get a certain outcome by a certain period. Yes. Right? Yet, we do it in certain cases, but not in others. Okay. Right? For example, when black folks were thought to be users of crack cocaine in the 80s and stuff like that, lock them all up, created mass incarceration. When white folks start taking opioids like crazy, mainly in the 2000s and stuff like that, we created things like drug court, free programs for rehab and stuff, and automatic expungement. If you committed a crime, and it was because you convinced the judge or the judge signs off that was because of your drug addiction, if you finish the treatment program, they automatically expunge your record. Okay. They didn't do that for black folks in the 80s?
No, they didn't.
So the point is, we know that it's where you want to put the resources, right? And that's why it behooves us to understand how the government works, understand how money works. How does the county get its money? when that money comes out of your taxes, where does it go? What does that thing that say OSDI on your check means when that money? Because some people made that decision.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And we just take it out. They just take out my taxes, right? And unfortunately for a lot of us, when I say us, I think as a black man, a black person growing up in Trenton, who I grew up in poverty, you know, at the points where we're on welfare, stuff like that. They just took our taxes out. And sometimes the other thing is these people named they. We don't know who they are really. They're called they. Are supposed to create society.
That's true.
They do everything. They figure out the buildings go, the streets go.
Or the man.
Or the man.
Yeah.
Mother. No, I was about to say something real nasty. I was going to say the man. Or they. It's we. It's us. It's us. Every time somebody say they, I nearly start. I said, I'm a deacon in my church. I shouldn't be using profanity. I got to bite my tongue. I got to bite my tongue. I was going to say.
You know this is going on YouTube, right?
I know. I was going to say. Man, if I hear you say they one more time, who are they?
Yeah, that's true.
But I did. I said I messed with them.
No,
They
that's
say, what are
okay.
they? I said, who are they? You know they? Who? I don't know who they are. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, right. So I say this in a nutshell. It behooves us to, you know what? Let's get biblical now. We're talking about that.
Okay.
God gave us dominion over the earth.
Yes, he did.
He never said he gave they dominion over the
He
earth.
said us.
And we should just be happy because we got a job.
Yes.
And you know, we got a job now,
Yeah.
we pay our bills, we get a car we want, get that cool house in the suburbs,
That's it.
nice
And
backyard,
relax.
right? And have some
Yeah.
nice parties or whatever, and
That's
invite
it.
family over.
Yeah.
Right. We got dominion over this earth. So stop talking about what they doing
That's true.
and talk about how we can do it. And figure out the laws, the rules, and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So.
No, that was great. That was great. I really enjoyed talking to you, Dwayne. Dwayne, before you go, do you have any business you would like us to check out?
Oh yeah, let me tell you, I got some big things I'm working on. I think I'm working on right now. I'm on council in Princeton, and my term is actually ending.
Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton, New Jersey, that is, where you have the wonderful Princeton University. Wonderful town, great town. One of the most super educated town, and it's just a very interesting dynamic living there. I moved there. In fact, I've lived in Princeton more than I've lived anywhere else. I live in Princeton now longer than I lived in Trenton.
For real?
Longer than I lived
You've
in
been
Jamaica.
there that long?
Yeah.
Wow, I
And
did not know that.
yeah,
I
interesting.
just thought you just moved there maybe like 5 years ago.
No. I moved to Princeton in 1998.
Wow.
I bought a townhouse there in 1998.
Okay.
And all three of my kids went through Princeton schools from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and my son already graduated college, and I have two girls in college right now. So when it comes to business, I'm working on some paradigmatic change. Let me tell you what I mean.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain it this way. We're so used to business being a certain way, where you raise capital, you have your business plan, you develop it, whatever. I'm trying to create a system legally right now, based on a lot of the new laws that changed, federal laws that changed since 2013. In fact, you have a lot of websites that's based on it, like these ones that do crowdfunding. For example, here's the concept.
Okay.
If we need $300,000 to do a restaurant downtown Trenton, or whatever business, why can't you tell me we can't find 300 people with $1,000 to put their money together
Wow.
to do it?
I never thought of that.
That's the thing. I
Yeah.
want that to be normal
Yeah.
for our communities.
Yeah.
If 5 houses on Walnut Avenue, right? And I'm sorry my Walnut Avenue people. I use that example because Walnut Avenue, unfortunately in Trenton,
Yeah.
and Wilbur section stuff, unfortunately has a lot of boarded houses, like a lot of parts of Trenton.
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't find one of the houses, see if it has good bones. The city of Trenton owns 8,000 houses that are abandoned. You tell me if you could get a house for 50,000, fix it up for 30, right? Let's make it a round number, 100,000. You tell me you can't find 100 people with an average of $1,000 to fix up and own and make that house better. The question is, how do you do it? You create a system. See, we're okay to do it when the man tells us how to do it. Oh, take this money out of your check and go into a mutual funds in your 401ks. First of all they're doing is pooling your money with the other 100,000 people in that fund. So it's okay when the man tells you to do it. But how come we never created a system that says, hey, let's do something where everyone can be can buy a subscription or whatever into this. I own 1/100th of it, and someone manages it. You have legal
So you're
documents.
saying that we need to be educated.
Educated and pool our money and start doing things, and stop waiting for they to do it.
That's true.
Right? Like when people talk this foolishness I call it, talking about the kids don't have nothing to do in this city. First of all, If
You're
that's the
saying
case,
build something for them to do.
build things.
Yeah.
Get all the people together, have a
That's
meeting
true.
and say,
That's
have a
true.
meeting
Like
and
a
say,
town meeting,
have a-
town hall meeting.
It could be town hall,
Yeah.
it could be individual, it could be the Dolly Homes Community
So
Center
what do you
meeting.
think about the
and
churches?
start
What do you
doing
think
things.
the churches are doing in our community? They're not doing enough?
I think the churches could do a lot more. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of us are products of our environment.
Okay.
So a lot of us grow up in an environment where certain things are normal.
Okay.
So we go along with the normal.
That's true.
You go to college, you get the job, you pay, you try to get your nice house, the nice car you want, you go on your vacation,
Yeah.
you take some pictures, you
Yeah.
smile with the family. But we're so used to that.
That's
Oh,
true.
somebody got shot on the boulevard? Oh, that's
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. We may go to a march or not.
Rest in
Rest
peace
and
on Facebook.
then you get buried at
Yeah.
Ewing, then they go through your life and get buried
That's
at
true.
Ewing Cemetery
That's
and never
true.
accomplish anything extraordinary.
That's true.
We get so used to that.
Okay.
Instead of saying, what's the vision? What's the vision for Trenton?
Okay.
Any community, Trenton, you or whatever. What's the vision? Willingboro, whatever. We want it to be a nice place for people own their homes, where whatever. Okay, what is preventing that? What's preventing that is this, and that.
Okay.
What can we institute to attack each of those issues
Okay.
overall? That's what being a part of a society is about. When people are thinking on that level and encouraged to think on that level, they don't have time for foolishness. Imagine you're doing your thing, you're doing your career, right? You're going ahead, you're doing things, and somebody comes and says, "Hey, Dad, you smoke this crack."
Yeah.
You're like, "Man, if you don't get that thing out of my face,"
That's true.
But if the attic is empty, I invented this. If the attic is empty, you can put anything into it.
Okay.
You can put anything up in there.
That's true. That
Whatever
is true.
foolishness you want to put.
That's true.
So the point is, if people are doing things, other things seem silly to them.
Okay.
But when you're not doing anything, you're sitting around, I don't know, they building something there.
Yeah.
They got a program
That's
I can go
true.
to. And so somebody comes to, hey, this crack tastes good. You feel good. Like you might want to try it because you
true.
might think it might actually make you feel better. So the point is, we have to, as a whole, individually, but all these individual links in this chain,
Okay.
think on that level.
Okay.
The churches need to do a better job of they're preparing you for
The rapture.
the rapture and all
Yeah.
that, but I don't know where in the Bible God told people that just. I don't know. I'm not getting to that right.
No,
We're not leaving that.
yeah.
I'm gonna say is live your best life. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually, mentally, physically, philosophize to yourself.
That's true.
What is better? Is it
Okay.
better for me to be this way?
Okay.
Should I not drink this coffee I'm drinking?
That's true.
There's pros and cons to it, right? Philosophize and then make a decision and then go through with it. Don't just be a rudderless ship that just goes wherever the current takes you. You know what I'm saying?
And also know God for yourself too. A lot of times people know God through what people tell them to do. Having a personal relationship with your maker.
Oh yeah. Because Lord knows I need Jesus.
Yeah.
So on many levels. Anyway, so I'm always what's the term people use? A product in working. What do they say? Like
Process. Process, right?
it's a process, but you're what's that term?
I forgot what it is.
Yeah,
I forgot what it is.
in
Progress and working or something?
in progress.
I can't remember.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Right. So we all are, I guess. So
We're not perfect human beings. That's what you're saying. No, nobody.
But we do our best, and that's how we do it. Yeah, work in progress.
Yeah, work in
progress. That's it. Got it. Work in progress. Okay.
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
Well, Dwayne,
Yeah.
thank you for this time. Thank you for coming on my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Until next time,
thank you.
everyone. Have a blessed day.